I've created a new LearnSpeed account. Before you begin using the account, it's important that you set up a few LearnSpeed customizations. Go to the Admin tab and click on the edit of the center you have just created. There are a large number of settings for you to review. Each have an underlined label. Click on these to get help with that setting. I'll also review each of these settings in this video. Okay, so the name is going to be the name of your center or tutoring test prep business that you're setting up. Auto available. You would use this if your instructors are all available at the same times, your normal business hours, say 9 to 5 on weekdays. If you use auto availability, check this and set your start and end times throughout the week. We are not going to set that up right now. Close Saturday, close Sundays. If you're open on Saturdays, leave that unchecked. If you closed, of course, check that. Use session ratings 1 through 4. In the session log, where the instructor or service provider will provide a review of what happened during the sessions that drives billing and payroll and reporting to both the administrators and the parents, you have the ability to use up to 4 ratings. By default, we use energy, preparation, and progress as 3 ratings. You can choose to edit those at another place in our system. At this point, you just need to make a decision on whether you're going to use them or not. This can always be changed in the future if you want to come back and set this differently. Time zone, pretty straightforward. Set your time zone. Default student limit. When a new event is created on your calendar, this default will limit the number of students to 1 if it's set at 1 in the default event student limit field. If you do not want a default, uncheck that. What this will allow you to do is set the number of students that can be scheduled at one time. If your center routinely schedules one-on-one, you would want this checked and this to be set as a 1. If you routinely do larger groups, say 2 or 3 students in a group, then you can set that number. And if it's random, maybe you don't want to use that default at all. All right, default event required session logs. I think that this is pretty important. This is set so that all sessions that have been scheduled on a calendar get pushed over to the session log queue for the instructor or the service provider so that they ensure that all session logs are completed. Default session overdue hours. This is for administrators and purpose. They can set this time, which allows the instructor or service provider to have a certain amount of time after the session takes place to complete their session log. I think 12 or 24 hours is probably the most that you would want to set that for. When session logs are overdue, they become red on the home page in the session queue, signifying that they now need special attention. Email BCC. This is a important field. This, what I would suggest that you do is create an alternate Gmail or a new Gmail account. For my center, Wells Academics, we created wellsbcc@gmail.com. What this does is makes it so that all emails that are generated and sent from the LearnSpeed system get sent to that email as well. This is just a good place for you to keep kind of a historical record. So if a parent said that they did not receive a session log, you can look up that email and see what was in fact sent. Email from name, this would likely be your company name. Email from address, we use help@wellsacademics.com. All emails or session logs, when the parent replies to those session logs, they'll go to that email. So again, this will the email from will not be a LearnSpeed address. It'll be one of your address. And I again think what we use help@wellsacademics.com, which forwards to that Gmail address, wellsbcc@gmail.com. Auto timesheet approval. This is for if you don't want to review each timesheet that the instructors or the administrators create. I suggest that you do not check auto timesheet approve if you want to have some oversight of what's being logged. Logout or URL. This is so when an instructor or parent, anybody that's logged into the system, logs out, instead of it going to the LearnSpeed system, it'll go to your website. We can also provide you with some code to put on your page so that people can log into LearnSpeed directly from your website as well. Show logo. I suggest that you don't show the logo unless you have a fairly flat logo. This is up here in the left hand corner. This is the space that the logo would be put. If it's a fairly deep logo or vertical logo, then it's going to push all of the LearnSpeed buttons here down. So the name seems to be fit nicely in there. If you have a relatively horizontal logo, then it might look nice in there. That's up to you. Show name, that's what we just got done showing you. It'll show the center name there in the upper left hand corner. New sessions from calendar only. When you check this, it prevents instructors and other service providers. When I say service providers, I mean like counselors or people that aren't necessarily instructors but are providing services and needing to log sessions. New sessions from calendar only prevents them from logging them in any other place. That's important because our session log queue relies on that information from that calendar. So to keep that integrity so that you're making sure that all session logs get logged, we want to check that. Proposed appointments on the half hour. That means, do you start your sessions typically 2:30, 3:30, 4:30, 5:30, or does it start at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock? At my center, school lets out at the local high school and middle school in time for them to get to the center at 2:30. So we propose on the half hour. And default proposed appointments duration 60 minutes is what we use as default. Some places have an hour and a half as default, 90 minutes or an hour and a half sessions. This is just used when we are proposing available times using the tag search in the calendar system. You can always, of course, set the duration of the session when you're creating events in the calendar to whatever you want. Lastly, email footer. This you would create an HTML rich, use the fonts. If I'm going to put in Wells Academics, and then of course I can change things like the font color, highlights. I can add pictures, whatever you want to do. This is the footer that is going to be appended to all of the emails that get sent from the LearnSpeed system to your clients and your instructors. So my suggestion is you put in your company name, maybe some branding information. You can put in some upcoming programs, summer programs, SAT programs, or whatever kind of things you want to let parents know about. This is a great way to market to parents. Again, ask questions if you or for assistance if you need any help with that. Okay, so that's the setting up the edit page. That's the first step. Get started with that and let us know if you have any questions. If you do have questions, you can always use the feedback report a bug link at the upper right hand corner. When you click on that, just put in your feedback or your question and choose a priority and select whether it's a bug or request or user interface. If it's a question, just put in a request. We'll get back to you as soon as possible and keep you moving forward. All right, that's it.